Hey, it's Vicky, and today I'm here to talk about my reading plans for September. September, I'm realizing, is one of my favorite months of the year, and it's because there's so much change happening. First of all, we are changing from summer to fall, and I am so ready. Fall is my favorite time of year. I can't wait to put out my fall decor and start wearing cozy sweaters and those crisp days where you wear like a hoodie and pants and you're comfortable. Oh, I can't wait. It's also like new beginnings for my kids are going back to school and they're, starting new seasons with like their extracurriculars. And I, of course, am also going back to school, boo. But it is my last semester. And this semester, because I'm doing an internship, I only actually have 2 classes that I have to report to during the week. So that's great. So yeah. September is great for so many reasons, and I have some reading, plans that are going to reflect that because I want to start maybe reading some books that kind of give me fall vibes. It's also series September, so there's a couple of series books that I want to tackle this month. So yeah, let's dive in. So I do have a couple of books that are carrying over from August. That seems to be happening a lot lately, but one book I didn't finish and I want to finish is a novel love story by Ashley Poston. I'm only like halfway through this. It's taking me forever to read this and I don't know why because I am enjoying it. I think that it's just the past week especially, I have barely read it all. Just because we went camping for a couple days and then just like getting everything ready for back to school and all that and doing last minute summer things. I just haven't read much. So yeah, I was really hoping to finish this by the end of August, but it's not happening. And then the other book that I started and haven't quite finished is A Nearly Normal Family by M.T. Edwardson. And this is a mystery thriller that is pretty good so far. I'm not very far, I'm 85 pages in. But it has to do with a young woman accused of murder, and the story is told from her perspective, her mother's perspective, and her father's perspective. And her mother is a criminal defense attorney, and then her dad's a pastor. And I also didn't know that this does not take place in America. I don't know how I missed that, but it takes place in, I believe, Sweden. So it is translated fiction. I didn't know that. It's actually translated by Rachel Wilson Broyles. Yeah, I'm enjoying this, gonna finish it in September. Okay, now let's get on to the books that I'm planning to read in September that are part of my very first fall TBR, right? The first book that I have planned is one I'm gonna read on my Kindle, and it is also the second book in a series, so it's part of series September. And that is Everyone on This Train is a Suspect, I believe is what it's called, by Benjamin Stevenson. So this is the sequel or the second book to Everyone in My Family Has Killed Someone. So you're following the same main character from the first book. Our character's name is Ernest, and he's a writer. And in this book, he is on a train with a bunch of other authors, kind of looking for inspiration because previously he's been a nonfiction writer, and he would write about basically write true crime. And now he wants to dive into fiction. So he's hoping that if he gets on this train, he's going to get some inspiration. And on the train, one of the authors is murdered. And so it becomes a murder mystery. And it's obviously like kind of locked room sort of thing because they're all stuck on this train and trying to solve this murder. It should be fun. I really liked the first book. So I'm sure the second one's going to be great. And then the next book I want to read for series September is going to close out a series for me technically. Because for the longest time it was a trilogy. And then recently a short story collection was released that ties into this series, but the series is The Arc of a Scythe, and the third book is The Toll, and it's by Neal Shusterman. And I feel like I read the second book last series September, so it's been a little bit. But this series is so good, and I don't know why it's taken me a whole year to read this because the second book ended on such a cliffhanger that I immediately bought this because I'm like, I have to read the third book right away. And here we are a year later and I'm about to read it, and it's big. It's like 600 pages. Yeah. But this series is so cool. It deals with a future world, dystopian world, if you will, where nobody can die. So to control the population, they have these people who are trained from a young age, like at about the teenage years, they start training to become scythes. And what scythes do is they go around and they kill people. And when they kill people, they really die. And they do that to control the population. And so the series follows two young people who are picked to become scythes and are going through the apprentice process or whatever, if you will. But things get dicey. And like I said, the second book was like almost jaw-dropping, honestly. And so I'm really excited to see how this is gonna wrap up. And then I will eventually read to that like short story collection. It's called Gleanings, because that's what they call it when they kill you. It's not killing you, it's gleaning. And yeah, I don't know, I have no idea what those short stories have to do with or anything, but first I gotta finish out the original trilogy, and I'm gonna do it this month in September. My next September read is for the Buzzword reading challenge, and the buzzword for September is senses. So like see, hear, touch, what are they? Taste, smell, I think. Yeah, so I'm reading Did You Hear About Kitty Carr by Crystal Smith Paul. And this one I picked up because it's kind of, from what I understand, it kind of gives off Evelyn Hugo vibes, which I loved that book. I gave it 5 stars. So this one deals with a actress named Kitty Carr who passes away, and she leaves her millions of dollars or whatever to these, she's a white woman, by the way. And she leaves her $1 million estate to these 3 young black women, the St. John sisters, I believe. And one of these sisters is a celebrity in her own right. And nobody really knows why Kitty Carr, like, has any connection to these sisters, why she left them her estate. And the one sister, the one who is kind of already a celebrity, starts to do some digging when she's trying to sort through Kitty Carr's things, and she finds her diary and starts to read it. And so all these kind of secrets about Kitty Carr come out. So yeah, it's about Hollywood and that sort of drama and secrets and all that stuff. And so it just sounds like a really fun read. And then my next book is for the Literally Dead Book Club for September. And I've heard so many good things about this book that I purchased it, and I didn't realize how ginormous this book is, but I'm looking forward to reading it. It's The God of the Woods by Liz Moore. I read Liz Moore's book Long Bright River whenever that came out a couple years ago, and I thought it was really good. Like, I remember being very emotionally impacted by that story. And this one deals with a young girl that goes missing from a summer camp, and her family owns the camp. And what's kind of strange about it too is that years prior, her brother also went missing from the camp. So I've heard that this does interesting things with like the timeline, that it's not necessarily told in a linear way, if I'm remembering, that there's a lot of different perspectives and things like that. And I don't know, it just sounds really good. And like I said, if it's anything like Long Bright River in terms of like the strong writing and the emotion and the way you get attached to the characters, then this is gonna be a good book. And then my last read is one that I decided to read in September because for some reason it's giving me fall vibes, and I don't really know why, but I want to read Great or Nothing. And there are 4 authors: Joey McAuliffe, Carolyn Tongue Richmond, Tess Sharp, and Jessica Spotswood. And this is a Little Women retelling. So what's interesting is that normally for me, Little Women is a book I like to read at Christmas time. I don't know if it's because Little Women, when it kicks off, it's Christmas time or what, but I love reading that book around Christmas. This one, for some reason, I'm like, ooh, that just sounds like a good fall book. And this one, you are with the March sisters, but instead of it being during the Civil War era, it is during World War II. So obviously they're I don't want to say professions, but yeah, sort of. What they're doing in life revolves around what's happening in the world at the time of World War II. And so, yeah, and then each sister, you know, because there's 4, each sister has like is authored by a different author. So I thought that was interesting too. So yeah, obviously I love Little Women, so I don't see how I'm not going to enjoy this. But then again, I've never read, I don't think I've ever read a Little Women retelling. So we'll see how it goes. All right, so those are my reading plans for September. Like I said, I am so looking forward to this month. I'm so excited. I'm sick of the heat. I want my pumpkins and my mums and my hot coffee and all the things. So yeah, let me know what you're planning to read in September. Are you starting to read some fall themed books? Are you taking part in series September? I would love to know if you're going to be reading any series. And yeah, that's it. I hope you guys have a wonderful month, and I will chat with you soon. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.